So this is a story about a house that I bought off a text message. I got a text message from my favorite Homevestor wholesaler, Homevestor person, or should I just say Molly?
Wholesaler.
My favorite wholesaler. So I got a text message from my favorite wholesaler with an address and a handful of pictures. It said, "Will you buy this for $90?" Absolutely. Bought it sight unseen. Never looked at it. The reason why we did that, we've done hundreds of these remodels, and based on we did a quick Zillow search on the address, and it turns out it's a 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car, 2,100 square feet. So built in '79. Knowing the area, and I caution you to know the area, and the reason that I did this is experience. We own several houses in the area. We're working on other houses in that same vicinity, so we went ahead and bought it because the house was worth $269,000. So we bought it for $90. How bad can it be? Famous last words. So we thought we estimated the remodel on the size and the square footage to be about $80,000. What we didn't know, and what we found out once we got in there and we started doing demo, the foundation was completely jacked. Like, it was split. Think about a piece of glass. When it's shattered and it's in many pieces, you can't put it back together. Concrete is kind of the same. So when it's broken into many pieces and it's not level, it's no real way of putting it back together. Like I said, we didn't go in and look at it until after we purchased it. When we got in there, we started looking at the foundation. We realized the foundation was in bad shape. And there was, back in the 70s and 80s, when they poured the concrete, they didn't have the post tension or rebar, any kind of reinforcement in those slabs. So it had cracked, it had split. And we had the structural engineer come out. The structural engineer says, "We need to replace the slab." Like, what do you mean replace the slab? You got to tear out all the concrete and put in a brand new slab, like the whole thing. And I don't know, we've only done, up until this point, we'd only done partial slab replacements. We've never replaced an entire slab before. And what it takes to replace a slab on a flip, like breaking out concrete outside is one thing, but breaking up concrete inside a house is a whole nother ballgame. So our $70,000 to $80,000 budget, out the window. We're going in, and when you think about to take out this concrete slab from the house, there's no way of salvaging anything at this point. Like, you got to take out all the walls, you got to take out the framing, you got to take out the electrical comes out, the plumbing comes out. These were ducts that were in the floor, so obviously that came out. So you got to break up concrete, and you got to do it by hand because you're inside a house. There's no bringing in the skid steer or the excavator and heavy equipment. It is a fucking jackhammer and a wheelbarrow. We busted out the windows. We're going to replace them anyway. And it looked like the house was puking up concrete. It was rather comical when you go check it out. But you can't salvage anything. Like, we're taking it to basically a shell. There's the exterior brick walls and a roof. So, just to kind of give you an idea, to tear out the slab, just to tear it out, was $12,000. Now, the plumbing, it's 40 some odd years old at this point, so it's not really salvageable. Plus, we've got all the concrete out and we have a fresh plate, so it's best to go ahead and just rerun new PVC, all new plumbing. So it's not a direct cost associated to the slab, but another $8,000 in plumbing. Now, we have to rebar, reforce, do all the, set the rebar, dial everything in, go through all the inspections and get everything done. Now we got to re-pour the slab. Re-pouring the slab, now re-pouring a slab inside a house, mind you, we literally, we busted out the windows. It was pretty fun when we were tearing out the concrete. It looks like the house is actually like puking like concrete out, because all, piles of concrete out with the windows. Anyway, so you have this specialized pumper truck, and it's kind of like a big ass water hose. You stick this big ass water hose in through the windows and through the doors, and you got these little buggies, and they're all running around inside the house. It's pretty entertaining, actually, but it's labor intensive, and labor intensive means expensive. Anyhow, so we got another, I think it was 22. Okay, so now we're $42,000 on top of our original $70,000 to $80,000 budget. Now we also have to reframe everything, because to take out concrete, remove the framing, and you gotta leave just enough like 2x4 supports to hold the roof up. Other than that, there's nothing. So you have to go back in. Now the fun part, I mean, you really can, you have an opportunity you have a blank slate, opportunity to rebuild the house nearly any way that you want it. Like, you got to take out the framing. You got to take out the walls, kitchens, the bathrooms, it's all gone. You take out the framing, well, the electrical's gone too. And guess what happened to the HVAC? So now the plumbing is still there, but the plumbing is 40 plus years old, and we know it leaks. I mean, by the time that we fix everything, it's just cheaper to put new plumbing in. So when I say this house is, with the exception of the brick and the roof, is a brand new house. Like, we replaced everything. We put it back basically the same, but we opened up the floor plan, put in a large island, made the kitchen in the living room, and added even a nice little office area with the 3 bedrooms and the 2 baths. So that $80,000 budget, nearly double, $150,000. Now, good news, because we took it down to a blank slate, we were able to put the house back together much nicer and with a more functional floor plan than what it originally had. So we were able to bump our sales price. We were optimistic, and we actually went $299 on the list, but $285 is what we ended up selling for. Now, when you're selling, you have to pay commissions and closing costs and this and that. We just factor in 10%. I mean, it can vary. It can be 6, it can be 12. It all depends on what you negotiate with your buyers. Anyhow, but we average out 10%. So we went into this deal thinking I was going to knock it out of the park. I bought it for $90. How bad can it be? Terrible. We thought we were going to spend $170. We were thinking we're going to come out with $75,000 in pocket. It was going to be a great day. What happened? So we ended up spending $240,000. We were able to get that little bit of extra. Now we take out the commissions and the closing costs. As a flipper, the flip made $17,000. So just by that extra push on the sales prices, what kept us afloat. Now we have an unfair advantage. We own the construction company. So we're making money on the construction, and we're able to keep that in. So I got another $20,000. So instead of just pocketing 17 over the life of the project, we ended up making $37,000. So that's not normal unless you're doing enough volume that you can have your own crews. But you can see we had to get creative. We had to make some adjustments to keep for going in the negative on this one, because there's no way you could have sold this for a profit without fixing the foundation, and we barely script through it with our decades of experience and owning the construction company. So I say all this to say this: don't buy a house off a text message, or at least look at it first. Maybe actually look at the pictures. What we suggest, experience can be a very expensive tuition. Mistakes can be a very expensive tuition. And we learn best from experience. And what a lot of us have done is leveraged other people's experience and mistakes to learn and build it to shorten our learning curve. So what I hope that you gain from this is that you should look at the property and understand what you're getting yourself into, and make sure that the big ticket items, the foundation, the roof, the HVAC, the mechanic, the electrical, those things, or at least understand what they are before you get into it, because if you get into it and you didn't know that, it could break you. I mean, we got lucky that we barely dodged it. But not everyone's so lucky. Real estate's not always rainbows and roses and rainbows. You don't always make money. Now the goal is to make money, but if you don't do it right, this could be a negative number, and we've done it. On this deal, we went to our lender. We did a construction loan, hard money loan, cover this. Now that we've doubled what we're spending, we actually, because we have a good relationship and the experience, we were able to go back to our lender and say, hey, we're short $70,000. Or, well, I don't know if that was the wording that we used, but we came in and said, this is what happened. We spent this amount of money to fix the slab. We need this amount of money to finish the project, and this is what we're going to sell for. So, we said we had the $80,000 originally budgeted. We had $70,000 overrun, but we were increasing the list price by $30,000. So they agreed to give us a second lien. So they had the first mortgage for the hard money. They did a second lien for the $70,000. Finished the project, listed it, sold it. He got his money. We got our money. Everyone's happy. For more information like this, follow along.